The Steam Deck can run almost every game on Steam, but that doesn't mean every game belongs on it. Some games thrive on this device, and some games completely break down. So after playing tons of games on the deck, I've narrowed down the ones that thrive and the ones that fail. Now, we're not talking about games that are the best or the best in the series, otherwise it'd be a whole video on me installing 10 copies of Bloodborne, Gears of War 2 and Fallout New Vegas. 2 of which are not on Steam, and 1 of them would complete my life, even if it was on PC. I'm looking at you, Sony. Dreams shattered aside, let's start with Fallout 4. I'll let you guys battle it out in the comments whether you love or hate it, but there's no dispute that this game runs beautifully on the Steam Deck. 60 FPS with some tweaks and 40 for that perfect balance. Steam Deck chomps this one up. Next up, Mad Max. If you like the films and love post-apocalyptic open worlds, this one's right up your sand dune alley. Flawless 60 FPS and looks incredible. It fits like a glove on the deck without breaking a sweat. If you love getting lost in the magic of Harry Potter, this is the game for you. With a few little tweaks, the game looks beautiful, and the sweet spot, 40 FPS. Hogwarts has a 70 gig install which might deter people, but it's worth it in the end. Next up, Dark Souls 3, and if you've not played a From Software game yet, you've been living under a rock. They're super difficult games, but they balance it perfectly with reward. This is one of the more demanding titles of the series on the deck, but it fits perfectly between performance and graphics. 40 FPS for that balanced experience. Next up, The Witcher 3. We've all played it, but if you haven't, what have you been doing with your life? This game is one of the best RPGs ever created, and it runs beautifully on the deck. For the most part, it runs well at 60, but like most games, it's better just capping it at 40 and saving on battery as well. A great one to have in the library and a must on the deck. If you want to take a break from grinding a 60-hour story arc, Session is a great game to blow off some steam when you don't have to think. Even if you're not into skating, it's a fun game and runs beautifully on the deck at a solid 60 FPS. It's not your average Tony Hawk game, it's a skate sim and rewards a little learning curve. Don't sleep on this one. And now a few honourable mentions. These games still run great on the deck, but with a few compromises, which can be deal breakers for some. Red Dead Redemption 2. I know it's quite old now, but it's still one of the best looking games ever made. It runs at a solid 30 FPS with some tweaks, and I'm honestly surprised it even runs on the deck. Huge compromise is that it's around 110 gig to download, and that's one of the reoccurring traits with some of these mentions. Dirt Rally, an amazing game and runs beautifully on the deck with a few tweaks, but install is 110 gig. Gears 5, this game shocked me and it runs at a smooth 60 FPS, and if you're a Gears fan, this might be for you if you can stomach the 112 download size. Battlefield 5 runs pretty damn well on the deck at around 40 to 60 FPS and looks great, but the install is 91 gig, and that may sway people to look for other first person shooters. DayZ. This game has a special shelf on my deck, and I could be being biased as it's in my top 3 favourite games of all time, so shoot me. It's almost borderline unplayable, but with some tweaks and some trackpad action, it runs beautifully and is only 20 gig download. If you want 5,000 hours of playtime and beyond like I have, then this is the game for you. I know, Skyrim on the Steam Deck. The game is older than a potato and pretty much can run on one too, but ramp up the settings and it still tests the deck. An absolute legend of a game and still fun to this day, even if it's your 20th playthrough. Now, it's no surprise there's a plethora of indies, emulators and older games that the Steam Deck cuts through like butter, and that's why it makes it so versatile. There's no need to go deep into these categories, so here's a handful that permanently live on my deck. Games like Helldivers, Dismantle, Left 4 Dead 2, Kingdom Games, Surrounded and Vampire Survivors. I'm sure you lot have your favourites, so shove yours in the comments below. And if you've not subscribed yet, feel free to do it while you're there. Now let's get on with the moment I've not been waiting for. Like I said before, the Steam Deck can run most games from Steam, but there's a few I wouldn't even touch with your deck. We're going to look at the ones which have surprised me and how much they feel broke, and the ones that you shouldn't even waste a day downloading. Starting with the first fail, Resident Evil 3. No matter how many settings I change, this game just doesn't want to play nicely. Tanking FPS and jarring graphics. It looks terrible and plays terrible. It's such a shame because this game, unlike the others in the series, are fantastic and it should sit happily on the deck, but it refuses to do so. It's a pretty similar show with Resident Evil 8 Village, and I'm scared to even think what Requiem looks like if this is anything to go off. Now I don't want to step on the Steam Deck's toes because it still runs games well after 4 years, even modern games, but there's a reoccurring theme in this section that sheds light on games that should run on the deck with a great experience, but don't. And it's not the deck's fault, it's optimization and too much tinkering. Games that shouldn't create friction and that can be easily optimized even with controls. V-Rising is a great example of this. Too much tinkering can cause you to almost give up before you start. You don't want to come in after a long day and start fighting with your deck. Sure, like I say, you can run pretty much any game, but you have to weigh up if it's worth your time and if the experience just feels broken. Some games are just made for the desktop experience. Now I don't mind tinkering myself, but there's also a certain style of game that doesn't sit right on the deck. It's the online experience. Most of these games are full of tiny writing to squint at and more buttons to customize than you can count. It doesn't need to be a solid 10 out of 10 experience, it just needs to work enough to not waste the effort. Speaking of effort, this one's a bit of a joke at this point and is the last nail in the coffin for patience. Scum is a great game on desktop. Every now and then I come back to it on the deck, hoping that one day something gets fixed. In the past I've had no problems booting into a game, however the frame rates are shocking and it looks terrible even at best on low settings. I downloaded it for this video and couldn't even get past the main screen. Buttons didn't work after 10 minutes of trying, I just gave up and uninstalled. A broken mess on the deck, and a well-deserved fail. Now there's tons of games on the deck that have launchers, ridiculous install sizes and just feel broken, like there's not enough buttons on the deck to play seriously. Some fight you, some just don't work, and some surprise you with how they are optimised on the deck and don't seem to get it right. Others are not even close to being on the deck's hardware and let alone PC. If you're looking for an experience without friction, the next video I'm going to dive into is the games that the deck was made for. I'm Dark Soul, and if you like this sort of content, subscribe and I'll see you on the next one.